Hi guys, welcome to this week of earnings season with me, Randy.
And me, Danhai.
That's right, and I'm at RT Euro if you don't know already, which you probably do.
And I'm at Danhai, finally. I can't say that really easily.
again, last week he pointed out he changed it, but he's Danhai, which sounds much more government. Unless anything else. We were just talking about the market this week. Danhai and we are, of course, let me start properly. We're at BAM Production Studios again, which, I know I should mention that every Mickle is coming to you courtesy of BAM Production Studios, and we are part of the Jamaica Podcast Network. Yeah, there we go. And it's so. I've finished my contractual obligations for the week. Thank you. Goodbye. Just this week we're talking about what's happening, response, things that's happening in the market, blah, 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 the usual stuff. The people who like it. The people who don't, I'm so sorry. I'll go straight into it. You had the intro. We haven't had a guest in a few weeks. Has anybody asked you to come on, Danhai?
Oh, no, not yet.
Wow, yeah. Wow. I guess we're not that good. A couple of people have asked me, and I have asked a couple of people. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping to keep things interesting for people. I like to manage expectations right off the bat, guys. Do not expect us to be doing guests every week. We're not going to do guests every week. I believe, here's what I think in terms of content. So I form at the same time I tell Danhai, in terms of content, I've said it to him before too, but what Danhai and I bring to the table should be good enough for people to tune in every week. And I think so. I mean, I enjoy talking to Danhai. He's one of the traders I respect the most. He's not a trader, but he's one of the people in the market that I respect the most. And we have good conversations, I think.
Same for me, Randy.
And I think that if those conversations are good enough, and if we have a couple of guests a couple of times, it'll be even better, right? It's like a bonus. It's like, what's something in the market that's, I mean, it's okay, it's nice to get it, but you don't really care if you don't get it. Dividends.
Oh, yeah. You see, I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think. Let me get some dividends now.
Yeah. Big up speaking about dividends, I'll go right into it. Something had a big dividend this week. I remember that. Like Barita.
Barita, yes.
Barita had a ratted dividend this week.
1% at the high price. 1 plus, actually.
1% at the high price. But let's be serious. It's
at the 45.
Forget 45.
$9.
At the $9.
God, yes.
At the $9 is over a 10% dividend. Yo, guys, I'm a hypocrite because that kind of dividend I care about. That's 10% on your initial investment in less than a year in the form of a dividend. And capital gains to the tune of what? 9 to 90. I see falling now. But 9 to 90, that's pretty crazy.
Barita's a wicked momentum. I was looking at I remember when Cornerstone just acquired them. And I think the first dividend after, I looked at how much they were getting, and I said, them basically pay back for them shares now.
Yes.
In the one dividend.
Yeah.
It was the first or second dividend after the acquisition. So that also shows how much money was pumped into how much money the company was getting after the acquisition. Crazy.
For the people who lost completely and you listen to this for tips, you're going to be out of luck. We don't the tips. But if you listen, you learn stuff. But I'll just explain what he said. Cornerstone is a private company owned by a couple of rich people in Jamaica who bought into Barita, which is on the market as BIL. They bought a brokerage, Barita. They bought it. They bought the majority of the shares from, what's that lady's name?
Rita Humphreys
Lewin.
Yes.
She's one of the, well, she's not the father. She's one of the mothers of the market. She's been around from the early days, from the start, I think. I could be wrong.
One of the pioneers.
One of the pioneers, thank you. Yes. I feel that them just, he will never enter these doors again. But yeah, she's one of the pioneers of the market. And so it's an old house. It's a respected house.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the young...
Making money work for you.
Yeah. And then the young guys have come in through Cornerstone. So Cornerstone, like I said, is a private company run by people that have money. But they brought in... who's running it? Paul Simpson?
Paul Simpson, yes. He's co-founder of Cornerstone. So he's integral to how they operate.
Yeah. And if you've been following the stock market for a long time, if you're following business in Jamaica for a long time, you should know who Paul Simpson is. He's not a new guy to the market. He's not dumb. He knows I think he's a genius.
Oh, he's there, man, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know him personally, but just as things I've seen him do.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah,
things we spoke about some of this things together and where they're positioning the company and where they invest the money. It's great to me.
Yeah, they've been setting themselves up. I think Paul Simpson is somebody who has had the good fortune of having a great idea, being able to meet the right people who can help fund a good idea, and
believe in his. You can't tell much people, I'm going to go into investing and equity. Look how much money Barita is pulling from the equity investments gain.
That's a heavy line.
You can't tell other people, hey, I'm doing air quotes, risk the money on the equity market. I'm going to risk your money on the equity market.
Yeah.
You can't tell other people that, and they actually listen to you and go forward with it. Barita is making a killing with that equity line. And here they are.
Yeah. And it's such a funny thing to talk about Barita, because the industry was first shocked, then happy, and then now my personal view is that a whole lot of the industry views Barita very questionably. Yeah. I've held off from tweeting about why, but I mean, I think I can say it now. And shout out, I feel like every week I shout out Ryan. Shout out to 5Sally on Twitter. He made a tweet about, something that they hold, and I've seen it, and I know Danhai picked it up too. We spoke about it off air. But essentially, it is believed, let's not get sued, but it is believed by me, myself. It is my opinion, it's not a fact, but I believe that Barita has either a company, or they have a company under them, a sub-company.
Yeah, the unit trust holding company.
Yeah, and I believe that company owns a lot of the Barita shares.
Their ownership in the company is such that they'll receive capital gains from the movement of the shares in unit trust.
Yeah, man, everybody just lost a while ago. Again. No, I'll try simplify it for you.
I got two industry there.
So he's saying that essentially, but say it again and let me break it down again.
Yeah, so their holdings in the unit trust company will give them capital gains from the movement of the price of the shares of the unit trust.
Yeah, man, it is complicated. I hope people even understand it. All right, so essentially they own a company, and that company bought their shares, meaning Barita shares. Let's call one Barita 1, the one that we all know, and Barita 2, the sub-company. So Barita 1 is a Barita 1 that we know on the stock exchange, and lots of companies own companies under them. Not every. This is a good little bit of information. Companies and people create companies all the time for simple stuff. Yeah, if you have sense right now, let me tell you something. Here's a free tip for the week, guys. You get it early. If you have sense and you're buying a property, especially for people who claim to be buying properties for it's an investment.
For investment,
it's an investment. Yeah, it's an investment in real estate. Yeah.
I never want to say it. I'm going to make money from it with an investment.
Yeah, but you know what is? That's how people make money.
That's a good thing
yeah. You know how much land Mr. Leachin owns? He's like him on the whole of Port. Like, shut up. First lesson: real estate is not what makes you wealthy. Everybody, every accounts book just burn up them obeying me right now. Real estate does not make you wealthy. Think of real estate like a diamond necklace, right? You're not rich because you have the diamond necklace. You got rich and then you bought the diamond necklace. No, you can make money from the diamond necklace. Yeah, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not telling anybody that real estate can't make you money. Real estate can make you money. Real estate is very lucrative, and like everybody knows, we're not making new land. Right? So there's still land that you have to get, and once you own that land, it's yours forever. All right? There's still, controversial point, there's still families in Jamaica from the jump who owned land that was slave. Well, I call it slavery land because, my ancestors worked on it. I didn't own any. And some of those families still own that land.
Yep.
Just because great-great-great-great-great-granddaddy made an investment and it worked, right? No, I don't like great-great-great-great-granddaddy. But the point of it is that, yes, there's money you can make in real estate. I don't want anybody to say that Randy say that you can't. Big up NN Boogie for live tweeting. Tweeting an episode of earnings season. Yeah, I don't know if it was the last one. This is the one before the last one. I think we would have been our first official one. Actually,
I hadn't changed my name as yet. So.
Yeah, you're still the dog. No. Big up NN Boogie again. Come on the podcast, please, miss, ma'am. If you're so inclined, of course, no pressure. But anyway, saying that. Yeah, I don't want anybody to say that I'm saying that real estate does not make you money. Real estate does make you money. I'm not saying it's not a lucrative, it's not a business, it's not wealth creating. It is.
Just do it sensibly.
Do it sensibly, exactly.
Do it like a business.
Yes, and admittedly, because they're not creating new land, the real estate business is very, very, very old. And like any very, 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 very old business, it is harder to get into and more expensive to get into.
Definitely.
So it means that if you are actually doing real estate for an investment, there is a certain way you should do it in order to make money. There are certain things you should track. There are certain things you should look for. and you have to do those things in that order. Or not in that order, but you have to do things a certain way to actually make money from it. Do not think that just because you have acquired real estate that it's going to automatically be an investment. It must go up. I can assure you that you can lose money from real estate. If you don't believe that, check Jamty. Jamty's 2018 or 2017 numbers. Jamty bought a piece of St. Thomas and did an entire scheme. You know what we know, so the rich man or the money man do? H. Food and Sons, they built an entire scheme from nothing and sold every single unit in that scheme, and they made a loss. Because as they told you, they were trying to do low income housing for regular people. Your poor people get burned all the time, my lord. I feel it. But
it's funny that they set out to help poor people and they got burned.
And they got burned doing it. And it's funny because you see the response. They're like, we will not be doing this again.
Yeah, we're throwing away your money that you invested in this company. Yeah. You didn't buy into this company for the charity, for being a charity. Big up Social Stock Exchange. Yeah, you can go into that one when that comes around.
Yeah. Isn't it around now? I think it launched.
Yeah.
It's so confusing. Big up the JC. Let's not get in trouble. But yeah, again, we're on a tangent, but I'll work my way back through the tangent. Real estate is a business. It can make you money. I'm not saying no. However, I did make the analogy about it's like a necklace. So you got rich and then you bought the necklace and you can make money from the necklace. Yeah, I'm not saying you can't get rich from real estate, but you have to understand is you need a lot of money to go into it. Real estate, as I see it, I ran the row seat. You either have a lot of money when you go in order to do a lot of things that will require a lot of money, or you wait a lot of time. So if you buy a piece of land, you do something you're willing to wait 20 years, of course it's going to be worth more. Your parents' house isn't worth what they bought it for. They bought it in 1991 for $300,000, all right? And you're paying rent right now. I'm tired of hearing those stories from people.
Definitely.
God, yeah.
And you, Mr. Investors, that talk about, I want to buy real estate so I can rent. You buy the house and you get rent it.
Or Airbnb.
Please think about how you're going to buy the house. If you don't have house money, you're getting a mortgage.
There we go.
Will your rent beat your mortgage? To me, that's the first step.
Fundamental point that people don't think is, it's for any business. I'm going to spread it for any business. Is the revenue from your business idea enough to cover the costs of your business idea? If the answer to that is no,
then it's not making sense.
There we go. If the answer to that is no, and you don't have a way to turn that no into a yes, then it's not a sensible business.
Yeah. So you're not doing it for the legacy to make a loss every month on your mortgage. You did this to make the money. So please think about it as making money. Don't give yourself the excuses of, well, I own a house and I can't live there. You're not going to live there. So please sort out yourself.
Yeah, please understand what it is. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy a house. I think Danhai is saying that either. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't even buy a house if the mortgage is expensive or blah, blah, blah. As, what's that guy on Twitter? The guru, Simon Johnson. Yeah. I didn't big up Simon last week. I should have because I had gone to his class.
We had gone to his class.
Yeah. Danhai also went. Yeah. It was a good class. Simon knows his stuff. I think he's doing an MBA. I could be wrong.
Oh, I'm not sure actually. I'll not speak on that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But he knows his stuff. He's very good in terms of if you know, like you're not going to trick Simon. We don't like that. You know, Simon knows he knows what is what. He knows even the more advanced market stuff.
It's funny because I generally don't like the, how do I say this? Opinions of the heavy industry people.
Carefully. Yeah.
So when I speak to them, they come off condescending sometimes, or
like that guy on Twitter. Nobody likes him.
Or they have a because they know so much, everything they start know too much. They tell you this and tell you that, and because it's so it go, and there's nothing else after that. Simon actually listens, and his points are often very relevant.
Yeah.
Big up Simon, because one of the first industry people actually talk about MJE in a good light on Twitter. Yes.
And I don't want to get him into much trouble, so I don't press him on things like that. Yeah. There's lots of things. Boy, these days, my Twitter is a long line of things that I don't say. So there's less tweets than there should be. But we got lost on the tangent, and I'll carry us back. We're born out real estate. I know all the realtors hate us. Sorry, NN Boogie. Yo, follow NN Boogie. If you don't know who NN Boogie is, go on Twitter and go to @NN Boogie. She's always pushing real estate stuff. I know she's recently really, really put a lot of energy into her real estate.
I see a lot of deals from her, like proper. That's a good value for buying that. I see some proper deals.
Yeah. I saw even rental she has good stuff. I see she have a nice new Kingston place for renting for like 50 odd grand.
Oh yeah.
But I think it moved very, very quickly.
Of
I
course.
Don't think that would last. Yeah. A big up for that. Having said all of that though, I did get to this point about real estate being the necklace and you being rich and blah, blah, blah. Not that you can't get you rich, is that it's often something that people do after they get rich. They buy a lot of real estate. If you look at Bill Gates, he's done it. If you look at Ted Turner, Ted Turner people who know old money, old money in America. Ted Turner, who at one point was the largest landowner. No, I think Jeff Bezos is one of the largest landowners. Think about that, guys. Jeff Bezos now is one of, he might not be the largest, but he's one of the largest landowners in America. I think Ted Turner was rumored that he could walk from one end of America to the other and still be on his land.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, well, all of that happened after him get rich, right? Yeah, you buy land when you get some money. I'm not knocking buying land, but don't think of it as your first step unless you have a lot of money or you have a lot of wherewithal or you have a good team of people around you. You know,
Definitely.
If your father is a developer, go ahead and go into real estate business as a business. All right, that you have a step up above everybody else. Yeah, if your father drive truck, manage yourself. I'm not saying not to get into it. I'm not dissing people who drive trucks. My father drove a truck. He sent me to school for many years to it and took care of the family that way. But understand where you are and what you can do at where you are. That's my point. I'm going to bring it all the way back to Barita for the people who haven't dropped off. So Barita 1, the company, owns Barita 2. And the tip from people, I did promise you a free tip. If you're in the real estate business or you say you're going to real estate business, which means you're buying a property with the intention at some point in the near future to sell that property, incorporate a company and buy the property using the company. From that point on, anytime you want to sell the land, all you have to do is sell somebody the company. This used to be very lucrative before the government dropped the stamp duty and all of that because you didn't have to deal with any of that, especially if you incorporated it. Well, you have to deal with it if you incorporated a local company, but then you could just incorporate a St. Lucia company.
Corp and then they just
boom. There's no tax.
I got a St. Lucia Corp and real estate. Just one.
And then what it is somebody want to buy your piece of land or your house or whatever. What you really do is you sell them all the shares in the St. Lucia company that owns the land, and so they avoid tax almost completely, or maybe just 1%, but it's next to nothing.
Yeah.
The Jamaica company still has to pay property tax. There's no avoiding that. The land is the land. But what happens is that you don't have
tax when you sell too.
Yeah, but when you're selling, you avoid a whole heap of those because I don't have to worry about there's a whole heap of fees you don't have to worry about. So there's my free tip that I'm supposed to tell people. The last time I told somebody that and implemented it, I was paid a lot of money to help them come up with that. So I can tell you that is a good tip that you just got for free here on the earnings season podcast.
Yo, realtors.
Don't diss realtors.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe they can use that. Maybe.
Some realtors, I'm sure, do it. Yeah, I'm sure as people get more savvy.
Yeah, and it depends on where you are in the space. Cause you might be working for somebody, and your model just doesn't work like that. So
that's true. But I encourage people to hustle, no matter where they work.
Definitely.
Yeah, the boss will fire you anytime it makes sense to fire you.
Funny. No, plug my office. They actually encourage hustling.
Get yourself fired.
No, man. Like hustling on the stock market, like the whole office is invested on the market.
Really?
Like I've been to other brokers, I've worked at other brokers, and trust me, it's like you're pulling teeth to get people to invest.
Yeah. I'll confess something I don't confess often. So I did, Danhai knows, I did the JSC. What's that course that you're supposed to do from JSC?
Oh, the JSC,
the market
securities course.
Yeah, the online securities course. Yeah. And there are a lot of Mayberry people in my class.
Oh, yeah. Mayberry. So when you just come to the company, they send almost everybody. And like, suppose you're already qualified and you don't have to do it, you can request. So I when I came there, apparently my degree, I didn't need the
securities course. Yeah.
But
Danhai is like
I requested it.
God,
I was like, I also want to go, and they paid and sent me through.
Yeah, apparently they send all employees.
All employees,
even the guards.
Nah, bro.
Oh, really? No, you should bust the guard.
To be honest, I'm not sure that they wouldn't. It just they probably haven't asked about it.
Next time you go lunch, talk to the guy and ask if he want. Tell him same for do it. Because everybody, like 4 people here are talking about, I was by somewhere and I was on the road today and I heard the security guards talking about them stocks. Big up JSC for that. First of all, big up JSC for that. 2, big up the guards for caring about them future. 3, I wonder if it's like the same 2 guards, like everybody going there. Like it's like KFC, Constant Spring or something. Big up KFC. I am a Jamaican, which means I love my family, my country. God up above and KFC Jamaica barbecue, also wings. Also, it's not a joke. I'll never forget the first time I went to America and I had KFC just to see if it was true. And I was like, oh wow. No, we not better. Who's better than us? Big man thing. I've been checking. I heard, what's it called? Chefette. I went to Barbados. I had Chefette. That's interesting. It was interesting. It was a good trip. I'll tell you guys off. I was joking about that last night. So last night we were recording this on what day is today, Danhai? Friday. Today's a Friday. It's the day before my second grow event. So if I sound nervous, that's why. And if you guys have this come out Wednesday and you hear I'm not on Twitter anymore, maybe it didn't go well and I had to run away. But that won't happen. It always goes well. And the people who pay get exactly what they paid for and more. That's my thing. I try to bring value to them. But anyway, I was saying something, or did I interrupt you for nothing just to do a plug? Look like a free plug. God damn. Guys, I talk too much, which is I have the podcast along with Danhai. I didn't remember what the hell. I know we were talking about KFC guys fighting. I didn't want to mash up the money. Chefette is an interesting thing. I want to tell a story, but I don't want to frustrate people too, because you tell them, here's this great story, and I can't tell you about it. But I went to Chefette in Barbados, and I was carried there by a very interesting person. So interesting that if I tell you, you won't believe who it was. I won't say it, and I'm sorry. People can guess. At me on Twitter, guess who it was that carried me to Chefette there. But it was somebody that you wouldn't believe that carried me to Chefette. It was not Rihanna. If it was Rihanna, I would tell you. I would tell you about Rihanna and our children.
We wouldn't be hearing about it. No, you see, man.
You wouldn't hear about it at all, bro. I'd be a slave for her. That's not cool to say, but yeah, that's cool. Anyway, big up Rihanna. Big up Rihanna. Big up Chefette, but big up KFC Jamaica most of all. KFC is a national dish. It makes me sick and I still eat it. So he's like, I'm not gonna get sick, but you just plan it out. You plan it out. Some things make me sick, but
You're allergic?
I think it's something in the spicy. Yeah. Back to business, because people I'm sure I know. So again, Barita. So Barita won. I feel bad. Barita. Say it one more time just for the people, and because I remember the story. So just say the thing that they're doing.
People that.
It was about how they hold themselves.
Oh yeah, so they hold shares through the unit trust, I believe, and the unit trust
has to register its
gains. And the unit trust gets priced differently. So if the companies that they invest in go up, then the unit trust price goes up. And then Barita record that gain.
Yeah. All right, and so the breakdown I was going to give people is this, all right? Barita 1, which is a Barita we know, has a company under it, and in this case it's a unit trust. Again, this company. Is all, this could be wrong, guys. If we're wrong, this is not fact. It's speculation. It's not fact.
Informed speculation, because I know people hate that word.
That's true.
Speculation
That's true. Yeah.
based on some things we've observed.
Yeah. I'm just not saying it's a fact because I can't bother get sued. I can't afford to be sued. Yeah, and I also don't think they're doing anything. They're definitely not doing anything illegal or wrong. Yeah. Some people don't like it. Some people are wary of it. But yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in my eyes. But I know it matters in a lot of people's eyes. So here's what they're doing. Barita 1 that's on the market holds, as Danhai said, owns a unit trust. The unit trust, I believe, owns shares in Barita itself. So in Barita 1. Barita 2, we'll call Barita 2 the unit trust. Barita 1 is Barita we know. Barita 2 owns shares in the company that owns them, which is Barita 1. Those shares, as we know, we've said it moved from $9 last year and earlier this year all the way up to 90
this year.
Yeah, it's been falling this week. It's been falling this week, and we're recording.
The record date has passed for the rights issue they're doing right now.
Say that again. I don't think the song was right.
The record date for the rights issue is gone.
It's gone, and that date was August 20th.
Until August 20th.
Yeah.
So if you're not on the shareholder list as of that day, you don't have any rights to apply for.
Yeah, and you can only get rights. If you don't know what a rights issue is, guys, www.everymickle.com. There's an article up. By the time you hear this, it won't be the latest article up, or it shouldn't be the latest article up, but it's either the first or the second article on the page telling you what is a rights issue, and it breaks it down very simply, very beginner-ish, very normal language, which is what I'm also trying to do now too, in terms of what I'm doing for Barita. So Barita's sub-company, the unit trust, Barita 2, owns shares in Barita 1. When those Barita 1 shares flew from $9 to $90 as we said, Barita 2 has to record that gain as profit. Yeah, which makes Barita 1's profit increase. And because Barita 1's profit increase, the PE, big up the people who come to the Grow event, you understand PE fully. The PE, I'll even explain it. If you want to know it, either you check out everymickle.com or you come to a Grow event. Sign up for the mailing list on everymickle.com. Anyway, the PE, as we know, when profit rises, if the stock price stays the same, the PE falls. So their PE fell. Terribly. Terribly meaning in a great way. In a great way, right? But then if you are analyzing the company properly, you realize that a huge part of that fall is because they're the rise. So in other words, because their share price went up, their profit also went up. And what profit go up, they report the increased profit, and part of why the profit went up is because they bought those shares and the share price went up, right? In Jamaica and everywhere else, profit and the financials of our company are recorded on a lag. So, for example, a lot of people's, their quarter ended in June, at the end of June, and they will report it. I wish, big up David. David knows all these things. David was here on our first episode. Big up David. A lot of people give me a lot of commentary on David being here. David knows his stuff. I think 30 to 45 days after the end of a quarter, or is it 60
45 days? 45 days after the end of a quarter, they post the unaudited financial statements.
There we go. So, those within that time, that means that 45 days after they've done it, it gets reported, right? Which means that you hear about the profit afterwards, and then, of course, people like you and me would run away, buy some shares because, wow, they have great profit, right? And there's more to come. They just got taken over. Think about it. They just got taken over. The new guys are now truly in charge and pushing properly, and the profit is flying. So this seems like something I'd buy into. It makes perfect sense, right? It's a logical decision. And then you hear about increased profit, and because I'm buying in, the price is going up. And it's so funny because that price moving up is causing future profit to go up. And that keeps happening. So every quarter, the profit is going up. And because of that, people are like, wow, there's something great happening. And they're buying in. And so this is part of what, I won't go too far, but this is part of what sent the price really high. And it also sent it really high. Now at this point, I think a lot of people in the industry, it's a small industry thing, so people talk to each other. I think a lot of what happens is that the industry now knows a lot of what's happening, and they're seeing that it's internal. Now, to Barita's credit, core operations have also grown.
Doubled, I think.
Doubled?
Doubled. Like, the money from each line item, I think it almost, if not doubled, almost doubled. They're doing really well in that department, man.
Let me be accurate for the people
core
who are
is strong.
listening. Core is strong. Not core is strong, core is growing.
Growing. Oh, yes.
Yeah, core is
and
growing.
Ask for more money now, so you know.
Yeah, and they keep taking more money. They took a loan the other day. How much I took? They took, like, what was that 600 that they took? Or was it? Oh, sorry, I think it was Cygnus. That's not them. Okay. Yeah, Cygnus took some money. So Barita takes money if there are rights issues.
Rights issues, yeah.
And I'm sure they take loans too, but the rights issue is the big thing. And so the rights issue just closed. And I'm saying people are wary in the industry. Some people, I think, are wary in the industry.
Oh, I was noticing that VMs, they don't book the gain from equity in the profit. In the profit and loss statement, they book in the comprehensive income.
You don't know VM here.
VMIL. So VMIL, their gains from unrealized gain on equity, on investments.
What does that mean in real terms? In other words, they bought some stocks and the price went up.
Price went up,
okay.
And they book a gain. So you're in profit. So that profit figure is in their comprehensive income. So
not the net profit.
And it's heavy. They made so much money.
Yeah. When they sell, where does the money go?
When they sell, it stays in comprehensive income.
Wow. So no time does it touch the P&L?
No time.
Wow.
So
that's like MJE that we spoke about. Yeah. That's how you can see a company report a net loss.
Oh, yeah.
And then you check your bank account and not that it's nowhere near a net loss. That's so good. What are you taxed on? You tax on net?
Yeah, tax on net.
My God.
So, yeah.
Well, you're not taxed on OCI?
No, definitely not. I think it wouldn't be income tax, if anything.
No, but trading has its own taxes. But outside of trading taxes.
Yeah, so it's income tax.
Wow, that's a good deal if you have sense. If you can put those dots together, that's a very good deal.
MJE MJE is a St. Lucia Incorporated.
Yes, it is. I saw. Who spoke about that recently? Again, David. David did at JC Night actually, too. Yeah, he actually did a little thread on Twitter explaining how MJE is a St. Lucia company.
Man, so they have taxes on lock. So all the money they're making is going straight to you. No tax.
Yeah, you the shareholder.
Yeah.
Smart company to buy into if you have sense. In fact, it fluctuates nicely too. Yeah. MJE, you could buy MJE even up to a couple of weeks ago. You can buy MJE for $8. I know it's at $11. Yeah, and funny enough, this is where the market experts will tell you that the market is inefficient. MJE, which is Mayberry Jamaica Equities, is owned by MIL, which is Mayberry Investments Limited. And Mayberry Investments Limited owns 80 or 70% of MJE.
75 to 80, I think.
Yeah, thereabouts. And yet MIL has a lower share price. And I don't want to link share price. You don't compare share price alone.
Shares. They have the same exact amount of shares.
Yes, that's true. They did do that 110 thing and the whole, wow.
1201499. Don't ask when I know that.
Oh, we know when you know that. Hey, just coming from work. But so hold on. Did they have the same amount of shares or do they have a tenth?
No, they have
the exact amount or do they have a tenth?
Same amount of shares. So both companies.
Where did I get that 10% in my head from?
When they were selling, when we got 10% from the dividend in specie.
Yeah.
They gave us 10% of the company. So
yes.
It was 1201 and cut off the zero.
That's true. That's where that 10% came. We got 10% for free. If all you had to do is read or watch my series today, it's free. It's free. So not free. We got it because we owned MIL. But I say the market is inefficient because MIL is not priced quite the same. MIL is way below. In fact, MIL is below book value, if memory serves me.
And it's funny you said an analyst who says inefficient, but I find this to be an inefficiency of analysts themselves.
Yeah, there's no efficient market.
They inform the market. They will tell you strongly, the stock is trading below book value.
Yeah.
Look at MIL.
Yeah.
And I don't hear much news about MIL trading below book value. All right, so trading below book value, the book value of the company is X. And the price of the company, you can buy it on the market, is lower than X.
Yeah, let me break that down again for people in case them don't get it. I feel like I'm doing David's job. You have a, let's say you are a company. So you own a house, a car, and a cell phone. Cell phone costs $1,000 US. House costs, the house costs $10,000 US. What's $10,000 US?
1 million, 1.3. But
100. So the house costs $100,000 US. And the car costs $5,000 US. So we got $106,000 US if you add that up correctly. All right. The book value of you as a company is $106,000 US. Now let's pretend that you are an actual company on the stock exchange and you have shares. One share would then be $106,000 US. That's your book value. But somebody is currently selling you. We're back on slavery again. I feel bad. But somebody's currently selling you for $50,000 US. So you're being sold at roughly half your book value. So that's what book value is. And MJE currently, not MJE, MIL, which is Mayberry Investments Limited, which is the brokerage that we all know, is currently 29% below
its book value.
Its book value. So if it's worth $100, it's being sold currently for $71. That's a situation that I personally say, that's a situation that business people, smart and rich business people, in which that you take a loan, because loans are usually against your book value, or can be, and you buy your own company, you take it off the stock exchange because you would have bought something.
You bought something that for less than it's worth.
Yeah.
But and even like where MIL is, how much of the book value that comes from MJE? That says a lot to me. The fact that the value you get from the assets of the company is stocks versus, say, you own a machine that prints shirts. The value of selling, you probably can't sell it for what it is after a couple of times. So the loss in value of stocks isn't the same as a regular machine that pumps out some shirts for you. So the value in the assets, stocks versus that. If I was to get the assets from the t-shirt shop, right? Then I'd have to be working. I have to become a t-shirt shop to make money from it.
Okay.
If I get MJE's assets, I get stocks.
Again. No, you have to say it again. You know what? I wasn't paying attention. I'm sure people were paying attention. That's fine, because I know the value of MJ and MIL.
The value you get from the assets themselves, it justifies the company trading at book value or more.
Yes. Yeah, for many things. It's just for a good example of that is SSF, Surgical Select Funds. The NAV means net asset value, but it's also is it the same thing as book value? Is it the same thing as book value? No. It can be.
Yeah, it can be.
So for like a SSF where they own absolutely nothing else, it is the same thing as book value because all they have are the shares that they own. So SSF, Surgical Select Funds, is a pseudo index fund. It tracks the financial index from the JSE. I can't explain everything, guys. Some stuff you're going to have to just know. But yeah, so the JSE have a financial index. The SSF tracks it. And so SSF as a company, all it has is shares in the companies on the financial index. It's so funny. Yeah, it really is. It's the same. I knew it was, but I want to use to sound smart because I Googled it before. But I know it's the same thing.
Yeah, man. It's just assets minus liabilities.
Exactly. So in some cases, it's very good to buy a company if you can get it for that. All right. So that's a great Buffett point.
That's yes, definitely.
Yeah,
so
Buffett did that.
Which is weird. I keep saying this on Twitter. If the value investors, air quotes, they generally follow Buffett's principles. Or they say. Yeah, they say they do, and they like the idea of following Buffett's principles.
Buffett's popularized principles, not his real principles. Yeah, few people know his real principles because his real principles don't sound as nice and involve you knowing and understanding risk and riding it. But go on, talk that.
So yeah, and they don't buy into MJE, a company that's trading below what it's actually worth. I don't hear much value investors talking about MJE being below worth. Or big up Simon actually, because at his class he mentioned that MJE is trading below its NAV, its NAV.
Yeah, which it is.
Which doesn't make sense, to be honest.
Yeah, MJE's biggest holding is they own a good chunk of Supreme Ventures, right? Yeah,
a company which has grown a lot since we've bought MJE. And the dividends from that company pumping right into MJE.
Yeah,
they have cash flow problem.
Every 3 months them send that 17 cents. To me, I don't care about dividends, but so guys, here's another explanation. Dividends, just like real estate. I don't invest for dividends, a waste of time. But if a dividend is good enough, I pay attention to it. Now, dividends are for people that have a lot of money. If you have $100 million you can invest in the market or in one company, then dividends make sense because a 1% dividend on $100 million mean $1 million. If you get 1% every quarter, let's say it's a 4% dividend, a nice good dividend. Some people have that, right?
Yeah.
What a 4% dividend yield. JSC last year in 2018, the dividend yield in 2018 for JSC was 4.28%, right? So that means let's say you get 1 point whatever every quarter from that. You have $100 million you could put in JSC.
Nice good paycheck there.
Yeah, you mean you get it's like
you're not working anymore.
There we go. It's like you have a $4 million paycheck for nobody to you just hey, that's my paycheck, $4 million, right? Or well, in this case, it'd be $4.28 million a year, and instead of getting paid every month, you get paid every quarter. But every quarter, you get that nice money. Now, watch me. If you have over, I'll be nice, I'll be generous. If you have over $20 million, go ahead and invest for dividends. Yeah, or if you're investing on a long time scale, go ahead and invest for dividends. Yeah. But if you are a regular person who just want to make some money from stocks, you don't really understand it, you're trying to get there. I'm not saying dividends aren't for you, but understand what you're getting. You're getting 1 or 2% on your money. You're getting 4% on your money. You look $100,000 you invest in and you say, I want this grow over the next 3 years. You're getting 4% on $100,000 over 3 years. 4% of $100,000 is how much?
You better hope they do something to give them some capital gains.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Capital gains, which I have no problem explaining to people, is when the price go up. That's all capital gain is. You buy it at $1, it go $2, you just made 100% capital gains. That's all capital gains are. That's what I invest for because that allows you to make money. The dividend is not just a nice cabrata. So if I get a nice dividend and it pay the fees for me buying into the stock, then it makes sense to me. Yeah. That's how I see the market. That's how I go into these things. But I know it's not the same for everybody. People are different, blah, blah, blah. But if you can follow Buffett's actual principles and you buy into a company that's below its value, so tying it back to that point, below its value, a good example is an insurance company. Insurance companies, too much to explain, I'll just talk straight. Insurance companies take your money and do whatever they want with it unless you have an accident. Yep. That's a simple version of what insurance companies do. And they're required to have a lot of money on hand. So their requirement is literally that you have to have a crap load of money, and you also have to take people's money every month, every quarter, every year. And I need you to then invest that money. Well, you can do whatever you want with it. But if somebody gives you money to just hold, and you only have to give them back if something happens, I'd advise you to invest in it. Yeah, man. If somebody make you hold some money, invest it. Not everybody gonna say, yo, my mother did give me $1,000 to hold and ran this. I should invest it. So I went out and bought SSLVC, and this is Randy's fault. Leave that alone. But the point is, if you really follow Buffett's principles, buying into a company whose book value is higher is good, but it's not just good because the book value is higher. At Buffett's level, he was buying into companies where the book value is higher, and then he got to control those books. That's where the real win is. A good example of that is earlier this year, Key Insurance got in some trouble. Trouble in this sense. Avoid a lawsuit. I'm a lawyer going, oh my God. I won't call her name. For some reason, I don't ever call her name, and I like keeping it that way. Let's keep her out of trouble. But Key got in some trouble because they couldn't meet their capital adequacy requirements, which is really just the government saying that if you're taking people money, you need to have X amount more so in your pocket. Yeah, they're no on a plan to get over it. I hear, and I think they're already above it as at this date in August. But I know that they were in trouble earlier. Now, to me, when I see a going concern, that's a good company in trouble, that's an opportunity. Yeah.
So we discussed Key quite a lot. Actually.
Yeah, I'm surprised that some of these value investors haven't bought into that because I would love to buy Key and play with their book. Can you imagine if you do to Key's book what Barita is, in our opinion, doing to their own books?
Oh,
yeah. Imagine if you're growing operations by 100% just off that, or you're just growing the book by 100% because, again, that book is yours. You do whatever you want with it. All you're required to do is to have as much money as the government says you need to have, and also to pay out any claims to anybody who has an accident. And if anybody has dealt with an insurance company before, you understand how difficult that can be. The insurance company is in no rush to give you the money that they said that they would. But during that time, if you run the insurance company, you can do all sorts of things with the money. You get that money to do everything. And the truth is, most people don't have an accident every year, right? So you get that money for free. Because every year you pay car insurance, for example, and you do have an accident, you don't get back that money. Yeah. What they do is they tell you have a no claim. So next year we'll charge you a little less. Yeah, right. You're right. Think about that. You pay to qualify to pay.
Oh, yeah.
And you can do it for 10 years and crash one time.
That's good business right there to me, though.
Yeah. I am on record in my younger, less smart days of calling insurance a scam. But if a scam gets good enough, it's considered a business. It's not a scam, but it's a really lucrative business if you can. And Buffett utilize it. And the value investors locally, I would have expected to utilize it too.
Yeah.
But the management are key.
As you say, it's something I talk about a lot. Oh, imagine an insurance company can manage the float and make a lot of money.
I don't even hear them say that. I don't hear nobody talking like that. Yeah.
It's more they say, oh, Warren Buffett does this. Yeah. And then they glorify it and they leave that. He never becomes personal.
Warren Buffett says insurance is a great business to own. That's it.
Yeah.
Like really, but why? Why was that a great business for him? Yeah, but he bought into the float. Yeah, but he was controlling the float. Yeah, you're not controlling the float. And that's the thinking that people who know us know that we talk about it all the time. People who follow Warren Buffett versus people who actually pay attention to what Warren Buffett actually does and says. And what he actually does is a lot harder than following the little quotes. I
think a lot of them would be surprised how much respect we have for Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Because of how we speak
a lot of them
towards their principles that they think are Warren's principles.
Yeah. It's I find that what it is that people don't pay serious attention to what is behind what you're saying. They listen to your words and they try to fit into what they think you're saying, even when you're telling them that's not what you're saying. And they just hook on to it no matter what. And it's often like, I need your words to match my idea of what you're saying.
Diversification.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, funny enough, I have a story for this week. So somebody was, I was speaking to somebody about stocks, and somebody butted in to tell me about stocks. And they were asking how much stocks I own. So I said a really small number. And the phrase changed. And they were starting telling me, boy, you should diversify. You really do that. How much money you make?
Yeah. Danhai has this thing where you have how much stocks you own now, Danhai? You own more than 3?
Three.
3? Lucky number. So Danhai, who I consider to be one of the... I say that Danhai is better than me at investing. He's just not doing it long enough to truly better than me. But in terms of thinking, he's probably better than me. Definitely at my level, easily. And you own how many?
3.
All right. I feel bad if I own more than 3. So, yeah. I own more than 3 right now, but there are reasons why I own more than 3. It make more sense. But ideally, I don't play to bring my entire portfolio and throw it in one company.
Oh, I try so hard. Oh, yeah. So the person asked how much money I'm making. So I told them the return percentage, and they were shocked. And when they finally brought it back to home, the first words were, boy, you know, she reached out diversify, though. And I was looking at him like, so I made this money because I didn't diversify. And they will go back to your principle of you should diversify. For what reason? So I should look in hindsight and say, so even though I didn't make this good money, I should have diversified and make less. What's the point of that? The risk is already gone.
Yeah.
So I don't think they actually believe in what they say.
I don't think they know. I don't think they realize for a lot of them that the point of diversification is to mitigate risk.
Yeah.
I think they're just diversification because they were told that they should. Everybody knows it. It was a Chris Rock joke. I should diversify my portfolio. It's not a real thing.
Yeah,
right. You just know it sounds stockish. Just like buying Carreras. It just sounds stockish. Everybody knows you do that. Dividends. Carreras. Yeah. Carreras is actually oh my God, I was going to say it's a great buy. I can't get in trouble. As at today, and today we're talking to you, it's Friday, August 23. I think Carreras in the short term, I personally...
I don't know.
Yeah.
Talk about diversification. Yeah. Come talk about short term. You want a right, sir?
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, God. In the short term, I've said that Carreras could be an okay buy. Carreras is currently $8. I know I said something I can't remember the guy on Twitter, but there's a guy on Twitter who I think he invests also. I think he's an investor, and he said Carreras was good like over the next few years as a good buy. And I said no, because it's always weird talking about Carreras because I know it internally and externally, but it's not for any internal reason why I didn't like Carreras. It's like externally the business itself, tobacco, generally, we looking at the numbers for Carreras in terms of the revenue. It's not a growing business per se. Cool. In fact, the current MD, Marcus Steele, has done something amazing because I believe last year he managed to grow revenue. He grew profit and revenue, and I think I could be wrong looking at the numbers. I think he grew sales also. They don't give sales numbers, but they can be figured out. And I think he grew sales, and that's hard to. I think he grew like 1 or 2%. But in the cigarette business, that's a big deal. That's a very, very big deal. I won't go any further because I don't know much of these numbers.
And his margins are being squeezed. So imagine growing sales with
constantly, right? Yeah, and he goes. So it's funny. That's one of the things that's an industry that it looks simple, but it's not. People are like, it's addictive. People buy it anyway. Nah, they might not, and they're not necessarily buy the illegal cigarettes and all kinds of things, right? So, but I looked at it and I'm saying after talking to him, seeing the guy on Twitter, and I thought it's an okay buy. It's at $8. I think it has a PE of 11 at 11.09 at $8. But I mean, if you have big money, and Carreras is a great heavy dividend payer, I will say that their dividend. I spoke about JC having a great dividend last year, 4%. The Carreras' dividend last year was 7.6%, 7.63%. Right?
That's money.
Yeah. Barita's dividend last year because of the first big buy was 13%.
Oh, tell me.
Yeah. So Cornerstone, Express Catering, ECL, I like their dividends. Also 13%, and they pay their dividends in US dollars.
And SVL?
SVL's dividends. SVL no. That's what you're doing, Danhai. You're over here. That's very smart. SVL's dividend last year was 7.03%. The year before. Yeah. Wow. That's what you're doing. I'm not connect those dots of people. That's very good. That's very, very good. Salada had a good dividend also. I don't know if I own any more Salada stocks. I did own some before. They're going through a rough time right now. I'll just jump right into that. We had a nice little idea in mind how this episode going that way. It's not going that way. But it's market talk. I hope you guys like market talk. Salada had a nice dividend of 9.3%. Again, I don't believe in dividends, so that's not why I'd buy them. But at $33, their PE is 17, which that's an okay PE. But they're going through some trouble now. So the business is good.
Business is good. Yeah, business is good. I don't. Business is good.
Yeah, the business is good. They're having some stress, I think, from JACRA.
Yeah.
The JACRA is. I tell people that JACRA is the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulation Authority. Essentially, they're the guys who tell companies what they can or can't do if they're involved in any crop grown in Jamaica. I'm sure I have it wrong.
I think it's a certain group of crop.
Certain kinds of crops and things that we have an interest in. Definitely coffee. Blue Mountain coffee is definitely one. And JACRA can tell you, they can levy assess on coffee. Yeah.
The coffee beans coming in, so they import, they will assess on that. So they're trying to make Jamaican coffee more competitive.
There we go.
The space.
Yeah. So what they do is that they do a tax on anything coming in that they care about, what they want to grow local. So everybody else go, can you imagine ginger come? Here's one that I've always heard. onions.
Onion.
They will import onion from China. Can you imagine that? Right? So Jackra's job is to try and make local onion agricultural production really good and really lucrative. And they do that 2 ways. One, I'm sure they help the farmers, blah, blah, blah.
Definitely.
But the other thing that they do is that they can put a tax on that product coming in from somewhere else. So they can say, okay, Chinese onions, I'm so sorry, China, but Chinese onions cost $1 a pound. For every pound of Chinese onions, okay, and Jamaican onions cost $2 a pound. So for every pound of Chinese onions that you bring in, you have to pay a $3 tax. So now a pound of Chinese onions costs
$4.
$1 and $3 tax, and Jackra gets that $3 themselves, right? So it's now $4, and obviously, if you know, it's simple numbers. No, they've now made Chinese onions cost a lot more than Jamaican onions, which should naturally turn you towards Jamaican onions.
Because everything I want to do, better go Jamaican.
Because it's going to be cheaper. Because they've made the one that was cheaper before, but coming from external sources, they made it cheaper for you to use the local one by making the cheaper external one more expensive, right? Now, use that example for coffee. So for coffee,
the US was cheaper, there's a cess on it, and it brought the price up. So Jamaican,
Jackra did the same thing. Jackra put assess is a fancy word for tax. I say tax. I hear legally assess is not a tax. The lawyers know why that is. I don't know or care. In my mind, it's a tax. So assess is a tax that they put on it. So what they did is they put a tax on coffee that's not grown in Jamaica. And I believe Salada uses only 30% of Blue Mountain coffee in their mix.
Yeah.
So 70%.
30-70. And
70% is imported.
It's imported.
And now they have to pay a tax on that.
Pay a tax on that. And Jackra, I think they told them that they have to change the mix 20%.
So I deliberately separated those 2 points because recently there was a Gleaner article about those 2 points.
Yeah, so it's 2080. They want to move to the instant coffee mix. They want to change the formula.
Yeah, so I'll break that down for people deeply. First thing, the cess. So the cess that Jackra put on them was on coffee. I'll give you the actual number. Is it said something like it ranges up to, I think the max is $2.40 per kilogram of coffee beans that they import. I don't know how that works within the coffee industry. All I know is that it causes overseas coffee to be more expensive than local coffee. But I gather coming from Salada that local quality, this is blasphemy. The quality isn't up to the standard that they would. And I know that local coffee is really expensive. I think everybody know that. You go anywhere you see, it's stupid. A Blue Mountain coffee is stupidly expensive. Yeah, man. They're like top level coffees in the world that aren't as expensive as Blue Mountain coffee. What this means for Salada, though, is that Jackra has put a fee on one of their input costs, their raw materials. And so now it is more expensive for them to make the same product. Now, usually, like when you do it to Jamaican people, you can just put that onto the price and send it to Jamaican people. But this amount is so much higher that they can't really do it. And moreover, they do a little bit of exporting, but they can't export because the cess is so heavy. They say that they have already paid out. I don't want to get it wrong. They say that they have already paid out. I won't get the numbers right, but I don't want you guys having a pregnant pause. That's a radio thing I learned about on Wikipedia. Pregnant pause. They paid out 70 million. Since the charges on them from Jackra started in March 2018, and between March 2018 and August 2019, at least, according to this article, they paid out 70 million Jamaican dollars to the regulator. And what that means also in terms of them, in terms of profit to them, their profit has slipped recently. I'll get to the profit numbers recently. I'll get to it because they blame it on that cess. But the second point, which I stopped you on earlier, I'll let you know, is that Jackra also can tell you how much coffee you are, or how much your local product mix is local coffee. And currently Salada uses 30%.
30, yeah. They had 2080 and Jackra is telling them to go up to 30. So 30% local coffee, I think. So they're telling them to put more local coffee in it. So they're 20% local, 80% international. No, they want them to up the local to 30%.
Yeah, and the deadline on doing that was like it's so funny. The deadline on doing that was, I know it passed.
Yeah, Yeah, it passed, man.
Yeah,
I think it passed.
It passed. Yeah, it was. My mind.
I think it
my
was
mind's
about
telling
half
me
year.
June,
In
but I
my
don't
mind,
want to get it wrong.
it's the same.
In a June.
We're thinking about it in quarters.
Yes, exactly. Whenever it was, but that rule saying that you have to raise from 20% to 30%, that's a big deal now, because now I'm telling you how you have to make your product, and I'm saying you have to increase. You have to increase something that you're buying at 20%. You have to increase that cost by. This is going to be confusing for people who don't like math. The thing that you're paying for from Jamaica to make your part of your product, the cost on that is going to go up 50%. Because while it's only 20% of the overall mix, they're telling them to move it from 20% to 30%. And the difference between those two on a math level, just trust. If you don't trust me, trust Danhai. It's good math. Yeah, it's a 50% increase on the Jamaican side of things. And the Jamaican side of things is expensive.
And they also have a concern with taste.
Yes.
Coffee is sold to taste. You buy coffee because you like how it tastes. You might buy this coffee, this brand, because you like how it tastes, but you don't like it. Next brand selling the same or competing product, and you don't like it because their beans taste different or something. If you change the blend, then you change the taste. Yeah, so that will affect their market.
Yeah, man. And you know it goes, Jamaicans, we know it already. Here we just pick up KFC all ago. As much as I say that, sometimes it makes me sick. If KFC was to ever change them 11 herbs and spices, I know somebody saying, well, they did change it back in the area. I mean, at some point they change it. But like right now, they can't just lightly change it. Because it's a big deal. It's how your product is made. So for Jacker to do this, it's like a big... I've been wondering how they're going to get out of it.
But they did say they were going to start importing 100% Blue Mountain coffee.
Well, they're not importing.
Export. Yeah, exporting 100% Blue Mountain coffee.
Yes. They did say that they want...
They're a new product, so diversify, which is good for companies.
But?
Not necessarily for the investment portfolio, but for companies.
Or the diversifying their income streams. Yeah, and I'm always for that. So that's cool. That's multiple income streams. That diversification is good.
Yeah. And you know where it goes. That's proper risk mitigation. Boy, if this something happen in this side, I'm making money on this side.
Yeah.
Shareholder getting them value. Yeah.
And that's good for Salada. So Salada's response to keep Salada. So they did multiple things. One, they started to buy local coffee.
Buying more from local coffee.
Yeah, I think at one point they said they bought like 25,000 boxes, but I don't know what that means in terms of product.
I don't know really.
And when I see that number parted so much, I know somebody in PR wrote it because it sounds good. It sounds good to the people who need it to know, and I'm happy for that. I know, as you've said, they've also said they're going to launch.
100% Blue Mountain coffee. So.
And export it.
And export is value to Jamaica in so many ways.
Yes.
Because Jamaican farmers will now be selling to Salada, who is buying for their product 100% local coffee.
Okay. So it's straight bean are buying from you. Yeah, that's good. And I'm wondering if they found like some legal room, or maybe that's like some compromise between them and Jacker.
Yeah, I haven't heard about it. I haven't heard about the
mandate to 20%. 20 or 30%. And I checked. Even in the article where they talk about 100%, there's no mention of the Jacker 20% or the Jacker 30% mandate.
Oh, yeah?
And anytime I see things like that suddenly fall, I shouldn't say that. There is something in there.
I'm looking for it just now.
Yeah, let me not get in trouble. Let me read it verbatim from the Jamaica Gleaner. So the article is from the Jamaica Gleaner. It is fresh. It's Friday, August 23rd in the Financial Gleaner. And it says, I'll just read the importance section.
Jamaican coffee is still more expensive than US after the cess.
Oh, yeah, man. Stop it. I think somebody sent me a picture once of like all the coffees for sale. And there's like $5, $3, $5, $3. And there's a pile in the middle. And at the top, Blue Mountain coffee, $100 a bag. US. That's it. No question. Yeah, it's
no, man. I mean, for Salada, but when they're buying coffee, post-cess, they still pay more for the Jamaican than the US.
Oh, yeah. The imported coffee is good. It's good for the company.
It's not really good for the company.
You know what? I'm a coffee drinker, people. I don't. You drink coffee?
No.
I drink coffee. I enjoy coffee. Like I drink coffee black or black with sugar. Just a little bit of sugar. So I like coffee, and I've had coffee from all over the world. I've Costa Rica. And funny thing about coffee, every single country that does coffee claims that theirs is the best in the world. Yeah. I remember the very first time I was in Costa Rica a couple of years ago, 10 years ago, and they brought out some Costa Rican coffee. Like, you should try this. It's the best in the world. So first, I'm the Jamaican there, and Costa Ricans are. I'm not getting international. They are not black. Well, they're not black people, right? And worse, I'm there. I'm not around black people. They're cool people. I'm always comfortable around them, but You're telling me that it's the best in the world, and I'm a Jamaican, my face start make up same time. Wait, I'm sorry, you have a Blue Mountain here? so they say, I know you have to say it's the best in the world. So I tasted it's good. It was good coffee. Can't knock them. A virgin was there and he's from Colombia. And he's like, no. Vex. When I say Vex, And the man Vex. The next day the man come with, I don't know where man go find it. This is Colombian coffee right then. You have to have some because they're saying this is the best in the world. Colombian coffee is also pretty good, right? And Nicaraguan was there that day. And he's like, no, but he had his coffee same time. Have some of this one. He's had the Nicaraguan coffee. All three of them are saying that their coffee is the best in the world. And all of them have, look on this website. And they seem to show that theirs is the best in the world. And I was so surprised. I'm like, you're wrong. It's Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee. But obviously, everybody uses that to sell. My point is, though, what the most expensive in the world, not the most, but definitely one of the most expensive, is Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee. And I've heard from coffee people that, it's been questioned, as to how good it is. So I say all that to say that it is really going to hit Salada hard. And I think it has been hitting them. Their profit slipped 10% because of the new requirements, which is funny. So there's a lot in that 10% slip, right? The profit slipped 10%? Yeah, year on year. Yeah. I think quarter on quarter, year on year.
The boiler room thing. So
no. But I think, didn't they just have some fresh numbers? They just dropped fresh numbers.
Yeah, took a loss in the boiler quarter, and they dropped on sales in that quarter. So kind
of. Sales or
profit, definitely. They had
profit.
They had a loss in the boiler room quarter. So that impacts what the year on year looks like.
The gross profit is what slipped 10%.
But even remember the boiler room still affected them because they
weren't
selling product.
Cost of sales went up from 456 to 503. That don't necessarily mean nothing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that don't necessarily mean nothing. Just in that way, it's not that thing. But the boiler room thing is a big deal.
The thing there, the gross profit margin. No. Yeah, gross profit margin. That might say something.
Yeah, I don't want to speak too much because I don't.
The boiler room quarter.
Yeah, you know what? Let me be complete. If I'm doing this thing, let me do it properly. I'm gonna bring up the Salada numbers so I'm not talking crap. All right, so I have the numbers in front of me now, guys. So we're saying Salada is, as at the 9 months that ended June 30th, which is the latest thing they've reported, their revenue has gone up from 266 in June 2018.
3 months. That's 3 months.
Yeah, no, I do that deliberately for the quarter. So versus 275 for this June 2019.
Yep.
And the gross profit, however, has fallen from 101.
The margins are worse.
Yeah. Because of cost of sales. And
cost of sales is heavy right now.
And they including, I think they included, I could be wrong, but I think they included Jackra fees in cost of sales. Yeah. Well, no. If you're forced to buy more local coffee and it's more expensive, the cost of sales definitely go up. Yeah. So even if the Jackra fee isn't included there, I don't know which line it's in. I'm sure somebody knows they're proving. That's why I don't know what they're talking about. But that this is good because it's not good. It's good for Jackra. It's good for. I don't know how good it is for Jamaica because there's one point in the article that they said something that I don't like. It reminds me of the 90s where they're saying that essentially they'd consider moving some production overseas because if they're forced to. I was
thinking that's good for the company.
But it's not good for the country. It's not good for the farmers. It's not good for anybody. It's like Jackra holding hard into the point where people suffering. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's go back to everything Jackra is working for. Just reversed.
Yeah, there's like a Pyrrhic victory. Like they might win the battle of you have to pay us this.
Lose the war because coffee farmers get duped now.
Exactly, and companies do that, guys. That reminds me of something I said on Twitter, totally unrelated. When I saw this guy talking about BPOs and forming a union.
Oh yeah.
I understand where it's coming from. I feel it for you. I know that some BPOs can be terrible. Some people get treated terribly. But you can't kill the golden calf because something wrong with the one-eyed foot. Yeah, because BPOs will leave. And you know what? It's the easiest job to leave Jamaica because like my brethren runs one and it comes down to this. Let's say I'm an exec in Philadelphia and I get a call. Remember this, is, let's say Amazon, for example, right? Amazon doesn't have people in call centers in Jamaica. Amazon has a relationship with a call center in Jamaica, and then call center employees are on the Amazon account, right? Now, if that call center company in Jamaica has to pay its workers more.
It's costing Amazon more.
No, what they'll have to charge Amazon more in order to be. Remember that thing that Danhai mentioned maybe 30 minutes ago where he said if the revenue that you're bringing in is not more than the cost of that revenue, then you don't have a business.
Yeah.
So if the cost comes up, because BPOs don't run on very big margins, they run on very thin margins.
Yeah, I expect so.
Yeah, man, thin margins. So if they have to pay their workers more, they have to charge Amazon more. And the second, and Amazon pays attention to what's happening there, and I think some of their people might be actually get good benefits, all of that, blah blah, when you're on the account down here, right? But the second they hear about unionizing, they have procedures in place. They have corporate procedures that when unionizing happen, it stops immediately. People who don't know what that is, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see me talk about a show named Succession. Watch episode 2 of the latest season of Succession. Season 2, episode 2. Look what happens. So there's a company there where unionizing was just mentioned. Just watch what happens in those. It's mentioned in one scene. There's another scene, and then there's a third scene. Just watch what happens in those 3 scenes. That's a very, 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 very realistic thing in the American context. In the Jamaican context, how it happens is you unionize. I get a call at my office in Philadelphia. Listen, we have a league, because it's legal, right? Unions are legal. Like, you can't stop people from joining a union legally in Jamaica, by the way. So people form, we're a union country. So if people form a union and they're employees, you have to raise the cost and you have to tell people. If at Randy Row, I don't want to say Randy Row, at Evil Person Incorporated in America, the phone rings, employee picks up and hear unionize in Jamaica. Okay, I'll get back to you. Boom. Pick up on our call. We have a union situation in Jamaica. All right, what does our contingency plan say? What's the cost increase? Cost increase for Jamaica is 25%. Okay. What's our contingency plan A cost? 3%. Boom, 3%. You know what 3% might be? That might be India. And you know how they move the calls from Jamaica to India? One click. The phone literally rings in Jamaica. No. And just one click. And it just rings in India. That's it. So somebody hears, hi, I'm Johnny, and you're pretending that you're not in Montego Bay, and suddenly it's, hi, I hear you kind of voices. I want an Indian voice, but it's an Indian guy in India pretending to be somebody else, and that's it. It's that simple. You can lose a BPO job. It is the easiest industry to kill, and the easiest way to kill it is to unionize. I'm not telling people not to unionize. I think that things should happen. I think that there should be, I feel some responsibility since I said that no. So
I was waiting on it because you'll have to clarify.
Yeah, because I'll hear otherwise. Yeah, I'm not against unions at all. I'm a product of. I spent years at Carreras. Carreras is good because I was in a union and Carreras was not unionized. It was post-union, and there was only one person there who was in a union at the time. So it's not that. They're post-union. I learned a lot about unions there. And the thing is, even post-union, you keep a lot of the benefits that the unions had. So one of the reasons why Carreras has such a strong compensation package is because you're benefiting on the things that the unions did. So I'm not against unions, right? But I understand that, like, if I have to pick between unions or the entire BPO industry in Jamaica, I'm going to pick the entire BPO industry every time. Because I want us Jamaicans to have the money.
And I always try to bring it back home. To make it personal, you start a business, and you hire some guys, right? And those guys say, "Boy, we need some pay increase." You give them pay increase, and you're no longer profitable. Yeah. You're losing money on an ongoing basis. But the business doesn't make sense anymore, and you have a shutdown. That's really it. And
then those same guys who, because you're paying them, you can't be in profit.
You can't be in profit.
They're now all out of a job.
Oh yeah.
No, imagine that across Jamaica.
Yeah. BPO, so that's business in general. So businesses, they don't run away from these things. As I said, unions operate on BPOs operate on slim margins. Very so that means paying more to everybody they have is a problem. Yeah. Because they go into loss, and the man that they started BPO invest all in pocket money and make it happen. Then he's in a loss now. So
so I'm stopping business.
Because business stop.
And then all the people who wanted that union for things to be better for them are now out of a job. All right? And that has happened in the past in Jamaica.
So not discouraging anybody from trying to form unions or anything.
No, but I want them to understand what it is. All right, so I was saying I feel some responsibility in terms of like saying what I think should happen. I think certainly there should be a lobby group. I think there should be it sounds funny, not a union, but an industry association for the BPOs. And I don't mean people who own BPOs, because I'm sure there is one already. I think BIL.ja or something like that. But for the workers, right? And I think that should lobby the government heavily and have the government put certain standards in place for the BPO industry and make it enforceable, right? But
It can't be
stop short of being a union, because unions will kill the industry. And when you lose the industry, all the same people that you wanted to help are now hungry. You have to think about that. That's like if you have a child and you say you're hungry and the child hungry, and somebody diss you, or you don't like this person or them offer any money. Yeah, you may not take the money because you man on a weekend, so you may not want it, right? But your child is hungry. And so you don't take the money, and your child has starvation. I'm so sorry to carry there for that darkness, but I don't want to carry to that darkness. But it's that sort of thing. So now you've won the pride game, but you have lost the life game. I don't want to happen with the BPO. I don't want us to get to the point where we have to treat our workers, because we should. I believe that completely. People should be treated like humanely and well, right? We should treat how you want to be treated, but we can't lose everything because of that fight. You have to put that fight in its place and fight it sensibly, or you can end up losing everything. But going back to the Salada point, the numbers up in front of me, and I made my little point about BPOs and how I don't hate unions, but Salada, in their 9-month report ended June 30th, as you're saying, Danhai, they have lower margins, gross profit margins. And on the profit line, however, they do have an increase in profit for this quarter. 60.4 million versus 56.6 million. So they're increasing, even though they have had trouble. That means that corporations have really been brought to a good point. And on the 9-month basis, however, they don't. In 9 months last year, they made 136.9 million. In this year, 9 months, they made 114.14 million. I think they're blaming that completely on Jakra. They are blaming that on Jakra. And I don't know if they're wrong, but I know that I don't want Salada to move production overseas. As a Salada shareholder, you will make more money if they do that. As a Jamaican, it hurts too many of us. It hurts the economy, yes. I'd rather Jakra find an equitable solution. But let me stay out of that big fight, right? That's it as far as I'll touch that fight. Is there anything else that you liked in the market, Danhai? Currently, like this week?
That I like?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go on attack Jamty again.
What's happening?
I still like it, but no, same QWI. But last 2 episodes, I think I mentioned Jamty as what I liked in the market. So let me find somewhere else.
No, it's alright if you like it. So these people not paying us.
Definitely. But I was thinking about Wigton.
Interesting, because Wigton is some people think it's way ahead. I know some people think it's not a viable concern.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, some people think it's a failing company. Other people think which I think is a more common thought. Other people think that Wigton is currently, like, if they're priced, they're priced well. Where they are now is where they are. Because they came in at 50 cents. People that own Wigton right now, as we're speaking, Wigton is currently valued at 97 cents per share, almost $1. The PE on that, just for clarity, is 14.3. What you thought? What you think of where they are?
I was looking at the recent numbers. They doubled the bottom line.
Ooh, bottom line is a profit. Net profit,
so double profit. And if you look at the audited financials that they posted right before, they're lower than last year. The profit is lower than last year. But if you calculate what they had for the fourth quarter, you realize that a lot of that isn't from. They got a lot of gains from the refinancing of the debt.
Yes.
So they're saving. So both the last 2 quarters they posted, the fourth quarter and the first quarter, there's a lot of savings. So in the fourth quarter during the IPO, say I increased expenses, and you can see where they made a loss from that. They made a loss in the quarter, I believe. And that's not from the debt helped the refinancing of the debt really helped them, but the operations were brought down because of the expenses. All
right, let me hit that and let me explain some of that for some people. So the debt, just to give some people some context, the Wigton, quick side note, Wigton is a government thing. Everybody should know about it because there's so much heavy ads done. But while they were still owned by the government and the people of Jamaica via the government, they got money from PDSVA, which is Venezuela essentially. Venezuela used to give us cheap money. I guess people knew that Venezuela was getting in trouble, They knew something was happening, and I guess the government also knew that they wanted to push Wigton out onto the market and to the Jamaican people. So what they did before they moved the IPO was that they refinanced the debt. Means pretty much they go locally, borrow the money, and pay off the Venezuela loan. Mm-hmm. But now, Venezuela loan was in US dollars.
US dollars. So whenever the US dollars rise, then you would see where they book an expense. Because I borrowed money, and it's not worth the money I borrowed is no. I borrowed money, and the money I'm supposed to pay back is no more than the money I borrowed.
Yeah,
so I borrowed 100 US, 100 Jamaican, say, and I have to pay back 120.
Yeah. So essentially, yeah, them borrow 100. Them borrow 100 US when the rate was like 189, and them have to pay it back now. Same amount, in terms of 100 US, when I have to pay it back at 135,
yeah.
and they make money in Jamaica. so you know how that goes. So they
change exchange rate.
Yeah, and they get hit hard.
Yeah. So it was hitting them hard. Yeah. So where they refinance about they put that into Jamaican dollars, and so they don't have that fluctuation bothering them anymore. Yeah. So when we go and say, boy, the dollar gone up. Yeah. They're cursing too, and.
Yeah, but for them it was heavy. And then it would be us because it was owned by the government. So us. Yeah, but now it's owned by the people of Jamaica. Well, it's owned by the shareholders and it's paying taxes. Yeah, so there we go. And the government got $5 billion for it.
They have better profits. So you see, I tell you them double profit. Well, they paid more taxes this year then.
Also, you said that their thing, because their sales went up, right?
The sales went up.
And they only have one customer. What I mean, sales going up for Wigton means that they sold JPS more energy. That's core operations. I mean that the core operations went up. No, it's not a lot. It moved up from 2.356 billion to 2.447 billion. If you want the numbers on that, that's 2.447 is the most recent number. That's how much they made this year, because that's the entire year numbers. And last year they made 2.356 billion Jamaican dollars. And that's almost, I don't know if that's less than 1%. I feel like, no, that's not 1%. I am calculating wrong. That's 3.9% roughly, 3.8%. At a company of Wigton size, 3.8% is noticeable. Yeah. And it's a one customer thing, so you know how it goes. People keep saying to me that one of the reasons why Wigton isn't good is because they have one customer. Stop. All right. So, that's how it goes in Jamaica. You can only sell electricity to one person, JPS, and you have to get a whole heap of licensing and blah, 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 just to do that. Wigton is fine in terms of customers. They will never have more than one customer unless, I can't say unless the government change, because...
They even mentioned it. They mentioned something in the news recently.
It was a single customer thing? I don't know.
They said they you see it on the report or in the news, something about diversifying, where they might end up at a point where they might have more than one customer. Not less than JPS.
Oh, yes, I noticed that. It's great. You know what I think they'll do? And this is my assumption here. I think that they'll go into that thing where, okay, so legally, like, I can't have solar on my land and run a line to you. Yeah, that's literally, that's jail work. But, I could be wrong, but I'm not a lawyer. I'm also not an investment analyst, and neither is Danhai. But you and I can buy solar in my yard, and at that point it's okay for me to give you solar, because I'm not giving you solar, it's your solar, your own piece of it, right? And I think Wigton might be open, it's a business idea in my mind, to doing solar farms for certain companies or wind farms for certain companies on request, on demand. So let's say at Grace, for example, have like a plant, and Wigton comes in, sets up solar on their area, on a piece of land that them have, and puts that factory on solar. Now Wigton owns that solar, but Grace also has to own the solar, because they can't, remember, you can't buy it, but if it's yours, it's yours. And then maybe Wigton just has a maintenance fee or whatever, but at this point it's income, it's diversified income.
Even it's a lease. I'm leasing you the solar on your property.
There
so
we
I put
go.
the solar there and you lease it from me. You're not paying for light, but you're paying for the fact that this thing is installed on your property. You're paying for your usage to own.
That's so complicated.
You're borrowing it.
Do they give them energy from that?
Yeah.
But you can't give energy. Energy can't cross a street line.
All right, so
a line unless you own it.
No, man. So I put my thing in your yard.
Okay.
And you operate on your house. You attach to your house, everything go on, and you pay me a lease
for the equipment. I'm going to have to read the energy thing, but that's good. So they could do that. That's diversification. Of course, they can also go solar. They can go with MPC, clean Caribbean, whatever. There's synergies there. I don't ever talk about those two, but yeah.
Even water, because in Wigton's prospectus they broke out the price points
of each of the things. Yeah.
Renewables.
And hydroelectricity is
the cheapest one.
Yes,
and
it
the
is.
cheaper you are, then the more JPS want it, because I'm paying less for the electricity.
There we go. And JPS has a mandate to take cheaper than oil, and it helps the country because for every kilowatt hour that is generated from a renewable thing, it's X amount of barrels of oil that we don't have to import. So it helps the import bill also.
It helps our exchange rate.
It helps so many things. But again, Wigton is a failing company. Right? Anyway, what was good was that we're looking on them making more money this year, and the comprehensive income is what? Because Wigton, the comprehensive income don't look that great, This is wrong. Am I looking at the wrong thing?
You're looking at the wrong thing. Look at June. The March
shows the year end. So guys, ignore all the numbers I just told you. I was looking at the wrong thing. That's on me. I was looking at the year end numbers for Wigton, which a lot of people looked at and thought it was bad. So the price dipped.
Yeah, exactly.
It went all the way back down to like
500,000 profit.
Yeah.
500 million profit on that. Boy, it's not really
It's a drop because it was on 2018 they made 775.5 million Jamaican dollars in profit, and in 2019 their year end, because their year ended in March 2019, they made 573.4. So that's 573.4 versus a year before 775.5, right?
So pay attention to the numbers in the prospectus. It's a 9-month statement, audited 9 months. If you compare every line item, then you find out how much they made in the quarter. And yes, they're at a loss on quarter, but you can see where they're making the gains. It will tell you they make in the foreign exchange where they're refinancing it.
Yeah, you sound like you actually pay attention to the reports then. It's not like
I feel like some people
should. I think they should. But the first quarter...
Tell you that I don't.
Yeah. You're just talking, so you just start trade with it. You don't know none. The first quarter financial, you are correct. They talk about how much production is, and they produce roughly 2 million kilowatt hours more electricity, 2.9% change upward. So that means core operations went up by 2.9%. And again, their operations can't waste. Anything they make is sold to JPS, right? I won't talk about EPS because there was a movement in the share price, and I don't have it clear. But in terms of net profit, straight up net profit in the first quarter. So we're looking at the first quarter now, first fresh quarter of a new year as a new company with less debt. Last year, first quarter, they made 174.7 million Jamaican dollars. And this year's first quarter, they made 366.4 million Jamaican dollars. That's a difference of 109.8%.
And the main contributor was refinancing of the debt.
Not FX, as in cash held, but just the fact that I no longer have to pay this heavy US dollar debt. Yeah. Right? Wow.
And so that's going forward.
Yeah, and I think so people see it. Exactly. So it's not a one-off thing. I think that's how people are paying attention. It's not a one-off thing. Wigton, I won't say they don't have seasonality because everything has seasonality. Yeah. But the first quarter, April to June, you know what that is not? That is not summer.
Oh, yeah.
That is not everybody have them AC on. That is not people come from foreign. That's not more tourists here. That's not summer. So July, August, September, hot and rotted. Right now is physically hot. It is so hot. Right? People who have AC run all the time. Where we are right now, Bam is sitting and him have a fan maybe 12 inches away from his face. I don't know him living like that. Maybe, right? And it doesn't have anything around the blades. It's dangerous. But that is energy being used, right? Wigton is, in my humble, unqualified opinion, going to have to produce more energy in this quarter than they did in the last. And
can they really scale production?
There's a limit to production.
They get
they get told how much to produce, and then after that, they get told. Well, JPS asks for a certain amount, and there might be times when JPS under pressure. And them say, "Yo, we need more." And there's I am not an expert. The experts are listening to this and they know better. here's my amateur view of it, my unqualified view of it. There is a band within which they can scale up. Now, there's a limit. If every single wind turbine is spinning all the time and they're buying all of it, then you're not getting... Then there's a limit to which they can produce, after which they're going to have new wind turbines. But I don't think they're at that limit yet. And little things like that. Look how much... The difference between the production... The 2.9%, it seems small, but when you don't have as much debt to pay, that's a big deal, right? And the availability, percentage-wise, they said in last year, the availability 86.7%. If you're looking at the financials, it's 88.66%. And in the first quarter of this year, it's 97% availability. That says that, this thing have to run, right? Yeah. Now, we can't talk about Wigton and not talk about the big deal that came up the other day on Twitter. In fact, a friend of mine from years ago, from my early career days, actually messaged. She tweeted at me, and she's so intelligent. I've always I don't respond to her tweet yet, days later, and I said I'm going to respond to it, but it's just in the back of my mind I need to respond to it. But what she was saying was she was talking about the concerns that John Jackson raised in his IC Insider article about Wigton. What was it? What was the name of that article on IC Insider? It made Wigton's
ugliness, I think he said.
Yeah, Wigton's ugliness needs to be sorted out, or some
one of those lines.
Yeah, one of those lines. I don't want to quote Mr. Jackson wrong. I want to get it exactly right. I'm not seeing it on it. Do you think him delete it? No. I was wondering if he deleted, but he didn't. The ugliness of Wigton demands action. That was it from August 18th from John Jackson. The points, I won't read the whole article for you guys. I won't bore you. You can check it out on icinsider.com. If you care about stocks, you should look at that site also, and everymickle.com. But yeah, you should look at IC Insider. That's from John Jackson. He spoke about it. He said that the quarterly results for the first quarter suggests a bright future. Outcome, but the reality is vastly different. He writes it he writes in a way that in my mind I think I can hear him. It's vastly different. And his analysis of the results of historical data show that investors have been unwittingly duped into believing that the earnings of the company had blasted off sharply. Blah blah blah, but nothing could be further from the truth. That's dangerous. He's walking close to the line. That might be defamatory.
So we get a call.
Because it says duped. Analysis of the results shows clearly that investors have been unwittingly duped.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's strong. That's very strong.
That's strong. Guys, I only act like I'm stupid. I know better most times, but that is dangerous. Anyway, the points he said in the article was essentially what we've said, that the numbers are good if you look on the numbers, but he was saying that there's more to it than that. He's saying that on the prospectus, they didn't speak about seasonality. Seasonality means like something happens more certain times for the year. So, for example, we know let's say you sell cakes, you can sell more cake during Christmas, during the last part of the year. So if you're a listed company that sell stuff like that, there are certain things that happen that side of the year. That's seasonality. Now, I don't know that a company has to tell you that, and I do know that there was evidence of seasonality in the prospectus because I saw that myself. I don't know that they have to tell you that it's seasonal, though. I don't know that they did anything against the rules, but John Jackson is more qualified than I am, and he knows a lot more, and he has a lot more experience. The second point that he made was that showing a critic. He said, I'll quote him here, and it's later in the article. He says, a review of the prospectus provides no information about seasonality. A critical bit of information that's missing. I don't know how true that is, John Jackson, but okay. And he said that he quotes one of the accounting things saying that seasonality, blah, blah, blah. But that thing doesn't say you have to. It says it encourages disclosure. Encourages mean it's not law. I believe in law. Encourages nice. The real thing is in the last paragraph now. And I'm quoting John Jackson here. This isn't me. The shocking discovery is the composition of directors and shareholders of the company. Pause there and tell people something. So one thing that was very obviously missing from the prospectus was the board. There was no board in the prospectus. Yeah, it's very weird. It's not just weird, it's the only time I've ever seen that. They didn't tell you who the board was, and it passed. I'm so this industry is very weird. Yeah, it's very, very weird. And I think they may have spoken about it in the fact that they're putting it together, or it might have changed or something. I found it very weird. I don't know the legalities of it. Now that I'm saying this, I'm going to have to go find out.
What's actually found weird was that John Jackson didn't say anything at the time.
And you know that he went through it, right?
And he's usually one of the people that will speak up when he sees something like
yeah. He's one of the people that the industry looks to speak up, actually, because it's a joke I've heard said before, and I've made a joke before, that if John Jackson don't find it, nobody don't know. Yeah. And he has found things to his credit, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, it was when I've gotten heat for speaking about SSL VCs and their what I call, how do I say this now? I think they take the market for fools and they treat us like puppy shows. That's what I think. That's my personal opinion. I don't think they're taking the market. That's not Danhai's opinion. That's Randy Rowe's opinion. All right. But I think that they're not taking the market seriously. They're not taking the people in the market seriously. And John Jackson and I at only time were the only people I know were publicly saying that, yo, this is like a puppy show thing. No, John Jackson carried a lot more weight than me, so it went where it should and things happened, blah, blah, blah. I think when John Jackson... I have spoken on Twitter and I've tagged the JSC and they don't say nothing about stupid, obvious things that they've done wrong that they need to fix, right? John Jackson tagged them on things and I saw a response written in the newspaper. Yeah, they didn't address the things he spoke about, but they put a response and they say, we further to John Jackson, blah, blah, blah. So he gets he carries that kind of weight. I say all that so you guys could understand what I say and what Danhai said. John Jackson didn't notice it in the prospectus, but suddenly notices it months later. It's noticeable that it's weird, all right? But I will go back to reading his words. Again, these are John Jackson's words. People in authority should avoid conflicts of interest, full stop. The big question is, on what basis was the Wigton's prospectus approved that a board member of the Financial Services Commission shown as a director of the company and subsequently a shareholder? Judges cannot oversee cases involving themselves. To do so would be a huge conflict. And that's the end of the article. But what he's saying essentially at the end there is that when they did the prospectus, they didn't show that there's a guy from FSC's boards. FSC is the Financial Services Commission.
Which approves IPOs.
Which approves
so
IPOs.
I think that's where the conflict comes.
And oversees the financial markets in Jamaica. Yeah. So they're saying, so he's implying here, I'm assuming he's implying that the FSC member, the board member of the FSC being a board member of Wigton is a conflict of interest. No. Nobody, we're not lawyers here. Just on your gut level, I can see that. I can see
where it sounds like that.
I can see where you think that. If you're not a lawyer, I can see where you think that.
I can see there's a lot of removal from the situation.
So let's go second level now. There are processes that can be put in place to stop conflicts of interest. There's Chinese walls.
Especially in a FSC.
Yes, there's Chinese walls. There's all sorts of things. Now, the disclosure, the non-disclosure, to me, I'm not knocking John Jackson. He's right. And I want to know.
Really want to
I want to know who's on the board of every single company that's listing.
I can buy into.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy into.
Everybody cares about that. Even people who don't know a lot about stocks know that. Them check the board. Some people who buy stocks only buy based on that.
They say, oh, you hear a conversation a lot.
Yeah. Oh, there's a strong board. There's a strong board. I heard that a lot for I won't call that company. I heard that a lot for a lot of companies. That there's a strong board on it, and people think that means something. And it should in some cases for some people. But in this case, he's saying that, and they didn't say who the board was. And then for somebody on the board to be in FSC, I can see where that is. Now, here's where I get responsible. I don't know if there's an actual conflict of interest, right? I don't know what the rules are on conflict of interest and FSC board membership versus blah, blah, blah is. I'm not knocking John Jackson's point there. What I am knocking, however, is him drawing this point and using Wigton's performance as the basis for it. As if, so you remember he's saying that we've been duped.
I'm not seeing where this is a performance issue.
Yeah.
The company performed well. Yeah. And that is an issue, probably. But the company performed well. So,
yeah.
I'm not seeing where it ties back to Wigton being ugly. I'm not seeing where it actually... The first issue, what was that again?
The first issue, from the first sentence, he was saying that there are good results. He admitted that there are good results.
So, yes. The issue after that, second issue, sorry.
The issue he mentioned was that the director's report accompanying the June quarterly results is just inadequate as it does not clearly communicate what investors can expect for the rest of the year.
So I'm not seeing where that is ugly. So I really want all companies to talk about these things as much as possible. I love to see Wigton monthly post something on how much they produce this month, and I love to see that.
Yeah, I want as much information into the companies.
But them not doing it is not necessarily saying, boy, it's ugly.
Yeah.
Many companies that
hide some information. Almost every company hides their information.
Much companies just willing to speak like that.
None of them do.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't. In fact,
John Jackson's company do. They do.
John Jackson's company do? Yeah. No, they don't. How many cars did Jetcon sell last year?
Okay, so yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, they don't tell you sales number, they tell you profit numbers.
Profit numbers.
Yeah.
She's more than a lot of companies, to be honest. That's why I said that.
I'm not knocking him for openness, you know. When John Jackson is on a board, I know that company will run good. I know that he'll be open. I give him props for that. But then when I see somebody who I give props for that suddenly saying this, I know there's something else wrong. I can't beat around the bush. I'm trying to find the right way to say this.
I'll not say anything.
I don't have John Jackson money. Let me keep my mouth shut. But I think if somebody has a problem with something else, they should address the problems individually. And for John Jackson, who I respect, I would expect to see him.
Yeah, so raise concerns, issues. But not at Wigton's expense. That doesn't look good. It doesn't sound good to me. It doesn't look good to me.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
Yeah. I don't say anything for this one. Don't get yourself in trouble. I always get myself in trouble, so I'll do it. It's like you have a relationship, right? Your girlfriend vexed with you. And she vexed with you about whatever it is. You won't wash the dishes or something if you live with her, or you forget like the anniversary or whatever, right? And she vexed with you about that. But she don't want to say that to you. Right? Or maybe she vexed you about it, quarrel about it, she says she okay, but she not really okay. Yeah? Baby okay? And I'm fine. You can't keep bothering her, because after the fourth I'm fine is after the third, matter of fact, some man, you good? I'm fine. Them done. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, man. You hear you sneeze before you say that? All right, only one person
in
this room. Can I say that you're single or not? Is not single?
I have a girlfriend now.
Okay, you're saying that on the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So only one person in this room doesn't have a girlfriend. So I can get in a lot of trouble by saying this. The rest of you should keep yourselves out of trouble. Anyway, so hypothetically, you have a girlfriend and she vexed about something, she don't want to say what the thing is, right? So she cuss everything else. The second you do something else, you put your shoes there, so there's always have a problem with that. But she really vexed about the fact that you forget the anniversary, right? Reading this seems to me like John Jackson vexed about something else, so the man just lick anything for lick. Right? That's all I'll say there. And I hope whatever else he has a problem with is resolved very quickly, because I want it resolved also.
Oh, same, man.
Yeah, I hope it's resolved very, very quickly. I want it resolved also.
Actually, I agree. I actually agree
Don't
with
leave
his stance.
Okay, thank you.
In
Don't
that,
get yourself in
that situation. I fully agree with.
No, I agree. That's the funny thing. I agree with his stance. Everything that he said on paper, in terms of both the information in the prospectus and the directors and shareholdings, is completely true. But none of those things are new.
Oh yeah, and what I'm agreeing with too is the thing that we think he's vexed about. I actually think. Actually, I agree with his stance.
Leave that alone. Yeah. No, you don't have to edit it because you haven't said anything. But just leave it alone. Plus, you work in the industry. Yeah, keep yourself employed if you want to. Yeah, but I just think talking to my hypothetical girlfriend, I think if you have a problem with me forgetting the date, you should just deal with that issue. Talk to me about that issue, vex with that issue, and we're done, sort it out. Don't vex about that and cuss my mother's cooking. All right, my mother's cooking is amazing. Watch yourself. Go easy. That's all I'm saying. John Jackson, who is not my hypothetical girlfriend, should do the same thing. If you have a problem, say it, and I agree with the things he said in principle. And if there's an actual legal problem, say it. Because I don't know if John Jackson writes the way I write, but writing for me is a headache because it involves heavy research. All right? So if I see there's, like, for this, that's why I haven't responded to that girl who I said no. Because I have to go and research it. I have to go and find out what exactly is wrong. I have to go. To be fair, I don't even know which director I'm talking about.
Yeah, same.
All right? But wait. Well, I'll tell you. So the directors of Wigton are, as at this point in August 2019, Oliver W. Holmes. Oliver Holmes is a known person if you know about business in Jamaica. Nigel Day, Jacqueline Stewart. I always mess up her last name. Leclerc. I think she may be a lawyer. I could be wrong. I know she's on something there's board too. She's on Stanley Matters. In fact, I think she has something to do with MJE. Maybe not. I don't know. I think I came across her name when I was trying to figure out who wrote the MJE prospectus, because I love the MJE prospectus.
Oh, yeah, actually.
Yeah. So I think she might have something. I could be wrong, but I know she's on Stanley Matters board. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. M. Georgia Gibson Henlin. I had a lecturer named Henlin years ago. Gregory B. Shirley. Is that guy related to the first rock guy? Is his dad?
I'm not sure.
I think so. Pierre Shirley? Or I could have it wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm completely wrong. I should leave people's families alone. I don't know these people alone. But here's the names again. Let me start over. Oliver W. Holmes, Nigel Day, Jacqueline Stewart Lecker, M. Georgia Gibson Henlin, Gregory B. Shirley, Hugh Johnson. Now, out of all those names that I just named, 2 of them own shares directly. Jacqueline Stewart Lecker owns 8.7 million shares in Wigton, and Gregory B. Shirley owns 2 million shares in Wigton. Now, Mrs. Leckler also owns 8.7 million shares through a connected thing. So it might be a company she's on the board of, or a company she owns, or her husband, or whatever it is. Somebody close to her. In the legal definition of connected party, that's a nick thing. So if you heard that connected parties, you just hear the term connected parties, what you think of as a connected party might not be what the law says is a connected party. The law has a definition of it, which is funny. I think it doesn't include your mother. I could be wrong, but I think it doesn't include your mother.
I actually don't think so either.
So think about that. My mother could own shares in something, and I work for that company, or I am associate or on the board of, and it would say 0 for connected parties because legally your mother is not a connected party. No, if that were to happen, somebody to find out my mother owns shares in a company and it wasn't disclosed because legally it isn't. You might think that's immoral or it look bad, but it's not illegal. And
but
people who are
insider trading is illegal. So.
Insider trading is illegal. Yes. So there are restrictions around that. But what a connected party is has a legal definition. In the same way, I said all that to say that there is a legal definition of what a conflict of interest is for each company. Yeah. And I suspect that if there was an actual conflict of interest, there would be bigger noise made. Definitely. But because I don't know for sure, I'm going to do my research. And I would hope that Mr. Jackson has done his own research too. I don't know what the thing behind it is. Mr. Jackson, let me tell you something. I've said I want people on this podcast. If you want to come on this podcast, feel free. If you're probably cursing us on, I'll never be on that podcast. I'm sorry, I'm fine. Thank you for the money you've helped me made over the years. I'll continue to listen to the stuff you say. Thank you for all that. I'm sorry that you hate me, but you know, that the shares have worked. Thank you for your leadership of that's enough for John Jackson and the whole thing. And Miss Stewart, actually, you know, Miss Stewart is, I don't know if she's a liar, but she's the managing director. She's Stewart's Automotive. That's where she is. Yeah. And FSC, and she's a JP. But I would like to think that there are lawyers involved in all of this. They know what they're talking about, and they're good. Thank you, John Jackson, for being your usual strong-voiced self, and I hope you keep that up. Anyway, let's go to less touchy things. Anything nice in the market? I mean, we still have to wrap up. We've been giving the people a whole heap of content. I know this one is long. You have anything nice in the market that you see, other than Jam Tea?
Jam Tea signals. I'm still looking at signals. The results should be, I think, next week, August 30, the latest. Unless they change to 90. I don't think they did.
What's that?
90 days, 60 days after the quarter. I don't think they changed from the 60 days, so I'm expecting to be posted by August 30.
That's nice. And that's audited.
Audited financials.
Yeah, audited is the matter. It's funny enough. I'll end on this as a terrible note, but we can talk about this and then we're done. I'll put it all in one. SSLVC dropped their unaudited numbers today.
Yeah.
I'm on record as saying that I don't. Before, in my earlier days, like I don't care about the audit part of the numbers, right? Because there's so much. It's so heavy, I think, to screw with those numbers on a listed company that I don't really care about the audited part. But thanks to SSLVC, I now pay full attention to that. And funny enough, even not just pay full attention to it, they dropped unaudited numbers, and I don't care.
Yeah, I'm really wondering.
I don't care. For the first time, I'm wondering, are these real numbers?
I think the market's going to have that same sentiment.
Wow.
Because
it's just I literally just don't trust it.
For the whole long.
Yeah,
sure
they're still frozen now. They're still frozen now. They're still suspended.
A lot of people are itching to sell.
Yeah, so people can't. Well, you can sell, but you can't sell on the exchange, right?
You can't sell on the exchange.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
No, you can't sell on the exchange if you're suspended, but you can sell privately.
But who's registered is alpha Christians.
Well, owning a company is separate from being listed. So my company is my company. Yeah.
So I can sell it.
In fact, we know that happened for a fact because we know that happened for a fact because when it was while they were suspended that they got some buy-in from the Hendrickson, the son on the Hendrickson.
No. That's Hendrickson is the.
Hendrickson bought into SSLVC, did he not?
Oh,
He
no, I
bought
think
into Blue
Blue
Dot,
Dot,
which is
yeah.
under SSLVC.
Under,
So
yeah.
SSLVC has 3 companies, or maybe that's more now, 4 companies under it. For what they call portfolio companies was
yeah.
Muse 360, which is a marketing advertising agency, which was run by Andre Burnett. Blue Dot Data Intelligence, which is a young and millennial focused data intelligence company run by Laren Peart, and
Bar Central.
I don't want this the Bar Central guy because he deserves his name to be said just as clearly as the others. I know Laren and Andre personally, which is why the name comes so easily to me. But the Bar Central guy, I don't actually know him personally. And funny enough, that's the company that SSLVC owns the most. Kevin Frith. That's his name, Kevin Frith. A guy who, I only know the story. I respect the story so much because I hear him build it up out of nothing by himself. Regular ghetto youth. I don't know if it's like ghetto youth. I don't know the guy's name. But, he went to Danhai Tech. Big up him. All right? I don't know if it's like ghetto youth or not, but I respect that him build it from the ground up himself. That's what I heard about. And he did his thing right through. Never done. So I remember reading the Gleaner article about him saying that he passed his CXCs. He was never done, whatever. But he has done his thing. He has learned the hard way how to build up his company, and he built it up. And then he got with SSLVC. I don't know what's been happening since, but big up those 3 people in the portfolio companies. I said 4. They just bought into a radiology company. I don't remember the name, but they just bought into it recently while unlisted. So I know that they can move shares around even though they're unlisted. And it would seem that they're doing some good things.
It depends on how the buying works, because the company moves up operating, so buying into the company, that's fine. So people come in and buy the company itself, that's the issue.
Yeah, so me buying SSLVC is the issue. SSLVC buying into something else is a non-issue, yeah. But so you can't as easily. If you want a piece of it, you're going to have to talk to the company principals themselves. Anyway, so they just dropped their numbers, and like I should talk about it, but like I say, I don't, like, to me it's like I just don't believe it. I don't even want to look at it. They're profitable according to these numbers, but again, these numbers are unaudited. And funny enough, they had to put out something saying that their audited numbers were going to be delayed, but the unaudited weren't. The last time they had a delay with the auditor, I hear that they couldn't find over 100 million in revenue. So I will wait for those audited numbers. Same. Auditors have their use. Auditors, you win this round completely. I will be looking for it. I don't know. There's not much else to do. I see Danhai has been very patient. I think I'm hungry as hell. So it's time for me to wrap this up. I'll leave you with one thing. I'm looking on the SSLVC's top 10 now, and it's very interesting, this top 10. It has changed a little bit. So that's good. I like business. I want SSLVC to do very well because I want VCs also in Jamaica to do very well, because I think there's a lot of value there, and I want the industry to happen. So I'm hoping for good things for SSLVC. And people, when it comes to stocks, I'm a wagonist. The second you hear me say I've bought into SSLVC, you know that I believe in it completely. Would I buy into it right now? No, but the time might be soon. Anyway, you've heard enough of me. I think Danhai has heard enough of me. And you guys have heard enough of us. So I've been Randy. This has been the Everymickle Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at RTRO. My website is everymickle.com.
And I'm Danhai. You can find me on Twitter at HDanhai.
It's such a good name, bro. It's so professional. And this has been the earnings season podcast this week from the BAM Production Studios. Thank you. Thank you, guys. See you next week.
Thanks, guys.